Hey adventurers, so today is going to be my top 10 fantasy, or my top 10 sci-fi and fantasy covers that I own, I think is what I'm calling it. Once again, this idea I took from both, well, Treebeard's book reviews did it first, and then Shelf Center did it, and so I'm kind of stealing that idea from both of them and doing it for myself, partly because I've never done it, partly because it's a fun idea, and partly because I like stealing other people's video ideas. So of course these covers, once again, are not necessarily my favorite that I own, they're just 10 that I like that I own, because I can't, there's so many that I own that I really love and I have to limit it down somehow, so I just had to eventually just cave and pick 10. There will be a little bit of caveats to some of the different books, some of the different covers, but I'll get to them as I get to them. So starting with the top of the stack, I have my edition of The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells. This one is very simple cover. It's just a landscape that looks like it's been destroyed by war with some big monsters, machine monsters in the background that are kind of faded into the mist, kind of, you can't really see them, but they're there. And that really captures the entire feel of this story as a whole, and I really like, I mean, this story is one that I love. This cover though, I picked up this book because, as you can see, it's $3, it was $3, so it was super cheap. I just picked it up and was like, okay, this is what I'm gonna grab today. But the more I look at this cover, the more I really like it as a book cover, and it captures the feel of the story, and it looks really nice in my opinion. The next one we've got is my edition of Assassin's Apprentice by Hobb. Again, I haven't read this book yet, and I actually like my edition, or my Assassin's Quest, I believe is the second book in the series. And is it Assassin's Quest? I guess it's Royal Assassin is book 2 of the Farseer trilogy. But this older art style, it's the same on that Assassin's, or Royal Assassin. It's that same art style, but it's slightly different. I mean, it's a different image, I guess, is what I should say. But for some reason, I really like this older art style. I like it on a lot of books. I like it on some of the Wheel of Time books, not all of them, because some of them are just don't work, but some of them work really well. I have several other books, but this more classic fantasy art style I really like. And then I've got A Natural History of Dragons, a memoir by Lady Trent. This is the first book in the Lady Trent memoirs by Marie Brennan, and this first cover, I love all 4 or all 5 of the covers of these books, but this first one specifically, it really draws me in. I love really everything about it, but I love the fact that it's just this dragon on a white background, but it's a detailed dragon, and as you go from left to right, it's an anatomical breakdown of it. You can see, I don't know how well you can see, but there's little lines pointing to certain things with numberings and everything. So it's like an anatomical breakdown that you would see in a science book that tells you what each of the body parts are, or allows you to label them or whatever. And it works so well, partly due to what this story is about. It's about a dragon naturalist, a person who wants to study dragons. And I don't know, it's a super cool looking dragon. The anatomical breakdown like that, it works really well in my opinion. Then we've got another dragon, or another book with a dragon on the cover. This is my edition of Tales from the Perilous Realm by J.R. Tolkien. It's got a dragon on the cover. You're not going to lose if you put a dragon on your cover. It almost always spectacular, but this cover specifically looks so good to me. I mean, it's just a dragon, a really cool looking dragon sitting there with its long neck hanging off the cliff, looking at the character that I don't know for sure, but it looks almost like it might be Tom Bombadil holding a sword, which, why is Tom Bombadil holding a sword? I don't know that that's who it is. It probably isn't. Either way though, it's just a really cool cover. Captures the feel of Tolkien's work so well, and it's just a very cool fantasy cover that's also got that Tolkien-esque feel that's very atmospheric. And another Tolkien for you, this is The Children of Huron by J.R.R. Tolkien, obviously. This cover, I actually really, oh wow, the back cover looks cool too, I'll show you that in a second here. But I really like this art style, this Alan Lee really, really good artist. He's done a lot of work for Tolkien's works. And this one specifically, I understand that it's a man posing, standing there posing on the cover, but it works so well, partly because you see the dragon helm of Dorloman, you see the black sword Girthing, and it's so clearly a picture of Turin, and you see who he is and what he is and everything, and it captures him, but it's also just beautiful art, and it looks really cool. On the back here you can see, oh, what's it called? Gondolin, sorry. You can see Gondolin, you can see the eagles flying into Gondolin, and it's just a really cool image. But this, specifically this front image, looks so good. I don't know, I really love all of Tolkien's covers. The next one I've got is Gawling by Jp Harker. So by the time you're seeing this, my review for Gawling has gone up. I'll make sure to link it up in this corner, I believe. This cover, it works really well for me. It's just a castle, but the atmosphere that is shown through this one image of the castle and the landscape around, and the clouds with the bright white cloud but all the rest of it being gray, it captures the essence of, I've never been to Scotland, but that's what I imagine Scotland to feel like. And it looks really nice in person. The bright yellow for the title, it seems like it wouldn't work, but it works really well as a contrast. Next one I have is Recorder by Kathy McCrum. This is a sci-fi story, but the cover, it just pops, and especially book 2. I think I like book 2, which is not out yet, but I believe it's titled Aberration, and I should have a picture of it somewhere here for you to see. But the colors of them pop so well, and the stars and the just the way that it's so clearly sci-fi and looks so good together. It works really well in my opinion. The next one I have is so I actually have 3 different editions of The Lord of the Rings. All 3 of them I love the covers on. One of them is my super nice, expensive illustrated edition of The Lord of the Rings that everybody else seems to have it as well. But this, the other edition is the one with all the black books. They're black with spots of color to fill out the cover, I guess. And I really like those as well. But this one, if I can put it in order correctly so you can see it, hopefully this will work. This is my, probably won't quite look right. If I need to, I'll stick an image of it in there for you to better see. But it's a panorama from across book 1 through book 3, and it's just a very interesting image, but the more you look at it, the more details you start to see, and the more things come together, and you're like, wow, that's a really cool picture. So yeah, I love this cover, or this edition of Lord of the Rings. It's a very nice edition to read even. It's a nice hardback edition, and I really enjoy that. The next one, and probably my favorite Sanderson cover that I have seen as of yet. Some of the secret projects I might like more once they're completed. We'll see. But at the moment, as of right now, this is my favorite cover from Sanderson. I know a lot of people who don't like this, but for some reason it works so well for me. Just the image of the girl sitting there with the sword and the biochromatic breath coming out of her mouth. Everything about it works so well in my opinion, and this cover just stands out to me and looks really, really good. I also do like some of the Stormlight Archive covers. I really like the cover for book 1 where there's the 2 guys, one standing way off in the distance, one in the foreground, and they seem like they're calling out to each other from across the shattered plains. It's a very cool image, and I really like that one. I also really like the colors for Words of Radiance. The colors on that one pop really well, but Warbreaker is probably my favorite Sanderson cover. And the last book that I have on this list is also a Tolkien story, and this is Unfinished Tales of Numenor and Middle-earth. And this one, unfortunately, I've got like this weird, I think it's a coffee stain or something like that, but so there's a little bit of discoloration up in the top right corner, but that's alright because there's not a whole lot going on in that top right corner. The rest of the image looks phenomenal. There's Ammon, let's see if I can, it's R-U-D-H, but because of the way DH is pronounced in Tolkien's works, I believe it's pronounced Ammon-Ruth, something like that. Either way though, it's a beautiful hill, but you can, in the foreground, you see a bunch of men and a dwarf here. This is Turin and his band of outlaws and Mime the dwarf, and just it's so cool. It's such a cool image to me, and it works so well. So I do have I've got like 4 Tolkien covers on this list, but that's because the Tolkien covers are so good. I could easily put 10 Tolkien covers on this list and all of them would be accurate because they're all so beautiful. So anyways, those are 10 of my favorite fantasy covers that I own. I guess not really top 10, but 10 of them that I really like because there's just so many beautiful covers that I own. I do have different tastes in my covers than a lot of people. I don't always love the super simple design where it's like one thing and the rest is white background or anything like that with a splash of color. I don't always love that. Sometimes I do, some of them look really good, but I don't actually love the covers for like Sanderson's UK editions. I don't love them that much. They're kind of cool and I do like a little bit of them, but I don't love them. But it just goes to show that people's tastes are different. I love this classic art, this classic fantasy art style. I've got several books in that art style and it just looks really nice to me. Thank you guys for watching an Erudite Adventure. We post videos every Monday and Thursday. We have our social medias linked in the description down below. We will see you guys again soon. Stay well.